Hi everyone, welcome back to Canary Cast. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. You join us the morning after the Millwall game, Norwich 0, Millwall 0. Jacob, what are you saying? What do you make of it?
Just a 0-0, mate. Yeah, there's not much to say. Each team looked tired. I think we were saying just off video there, 6 games in 28 days before it shows. The second half wasn't great in quality. I'm glad we only gave them one chance. If they'd nabbed it, I think we would have all been fuming. But you know what? Third place, 1 point behind second. We're doing all right.
Yeah, I think when Millwall come to town, they're one of those teams that it could go really wrong for a team like Norwich, and it didn't. And we kept a clean sheet, and we're 6 unbeaten. And yeah, okay, it's a disappointing result on the face of it, but I think overall, generally, we've got to be very happy with the last month or so, haven't we?
Yeah, I saw someone reply to your tweet that kind of summed up the
Mm.
game, which I thought was good. But with your summary was good. He was saying about how every team's going to park the bus and we should be kind of beating these. I would normally agree with that, but like we just said, like the games in just the short amount of period, the players are knackered. Like Lucas Rupp, I don't know how he's still running. The fair play to him again for playing and playing well. He won man of the match,
Man of the
didn't he?
match,
So
yeah.
exactly, and it was a good performance for him. You know, everything looks a lot more solid. We said, I think after the Derby game, it doesn't matter much about the results at the moment. It's about the performance, and we look like we're clicking now. We're slowly starting to get there, and you can see as a game plan. The only thing I would say about the game, which I was slightly annoyed about, was late subs, which I thought we got rid of.
Mm. Yeah, I think they were pretty ineffectual subs as well, weren't they? I mean, there was only a few minutes to go anyway, but after that, if anything, Millwall came onto us a bit more and did have that chance at the end. So yeah, weird on the subs, but they have been much better recently. Okay, let's fire through the Millwall game, and then we'll talk about Swansea at the end as well. It's a little preview. Unchanged 11, Jacob. Fair enough, like we said, right?
Yeah, I think everyone fully deserved it. Bristol City was probably the best performance we've seen in a long time. So yeah, fully deserved there. And I just think the only thing is people look tired now. I guess we're missing Dowell. Obviously, Eder was suspended. He'll be back for Swansea, won't he? Cantwell obviously injured as well. It just gave us not that many options going forward, and you could kind of see that the longer the game went on, you're thinking there's only going to be one in it if possible, and you always think on the break Millwall could nab it. Yeah, it was just a bit of a meh game, really, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it was a good start from Norwich. We weren't poor, but it
Mm.
wasn't the sort of swashbuckling first 10 minutes we saw against Bristol and Wickham. I think that probably says more about Millwall's organisation than how good Norwich were.
No, yeah, I think they're spot on. I think they're going to be around in and around that top 6 conversation for sure because defensively they're really solid, and on the break they have a threat, don't they? Jed Wallace is quick. Mason Bennett is absolutely rapid. When he came on, you're like, crikey, yeah, he does have some pace. They just miss a goal scorer, like a lot of teams in this division. We'll talk about Swansea in a little bit. And if they have Timu Puki in their team, they're looking a lot more at top 6 for 100%. But they'll be in and around top 10, top 6, I think.
Yeah. Norwich had a lot of shots, 27, I think it was, which Daniel Farker believes to be the highest from a team this season. But a lot of them were from quite a way out.
You're clutching at straw. He's clutching at straws to try and make a positive, isn't he? You sometimes see it after a little loss or a bore draw, really. Yeah, Lucas Rupp had probably half of them from
Yeah.
25 yards out. And every time he shoots, it's like, I don't think this is going in, Lucas. To be fair, he kind of tested or it took a couple of deflections and nearly went in. Yeah, it's nice to see us have a bit more of a go from range. I think we've been saying this for like 3-4 years now, haven't we? That we try and make the intricate passing, and I think Mario Vrancic again is still your best option from long range.
Agreed. One of the better chances I can remember from that first half was when Plaheta hit the post. Let's talk about him generally because we spoke about it a bit after Bristol. I said he was a bit like a Ferrari without a driver, and I'm not trying to get on his case again. But I saw a tweet last night. I can't remember who it was from. I think it was Ben Stokes, but I can't quite remember. It said, "What's Polish for end product?" Because he hasn't got any.
You've got to put it into context here. It's his third championship start, mate. You're starting to get on his back. I know you're saying you're not, but this is becoming a pitchfork and dagger at old Przemysław. Is it the man bun you're not a fan of, or just his end product?
Say that last bit again, Jake. I lost you.
Was it Was it the man bun or the end product you're really annoyed at?
No, the man bun doesn't bother me. It's end product. There's obviously a lot of potential there with his pace, but it just like okay, it got a deflection onto the post, fair enough. But he had another shot from range, went miles over. His crossing on his left foot is not too bad actually, but of course we only had Hugel in there the last 5 minutes. I want him to do well, Joe. I don't want to slate him at all, and I won't. This early days, like you said, but there is not a lot of end product there at the minute, in my personal opinion.
So, well, Onel Hernandez didn't either, mate. I think you've got to give him plenty of time. And to be fair, we're not playing to his strengths. Like, if teams drop back, there's no space for him to run. And his impact or his kind of main threat is his pace, which most wingers are. There's a reason why he's in the Championship, because he's not fully there yet. But he definitely can be, mate. He's going to 100% be a useful player to have for the whole season. I have no doubt about that. I was a bit disappointed with a couple of Marco Stiepermann through balls. Pookie broke a couple of times. You're like, right, play it now, Marco. And I think Marco kind of summed the game up. It just wasn't fully there. It wasn't 100%. The team weren't fully at it and tired and just, not that the final product. I think Emi Buendia should probably have scored. But yeah, you take a positive that we haven't conceded. We barely gave a chance away. I think Gibson and Hanley were very solid again. Yeah. Against aerial threats, like they bring Matt Smith on you, like, okay, what can we do? And corners as well. I thought we looked all right. We defended them well.
Yeah, let's talk about Hanley in particular, but also Gibson and the rest of the defence. Daniel Farke after the game, he actually admitted that we are quite a small team and that set pieces are a problem for us. But like you said, we dealt with them fairly well last night, and that central defensive partnership generally, okay, there's a little bit of work needs doing, but it is every week it's looking a bit better, isn't it?
Yeah, we've had this discussion, haven't we? See some people dying for Zimmerman to come back in.
Yeah.
For me,
I don't get that.
I'm not that sure about that, especially when he needs time to he needs a proper kind of game time, probably with the 23s, to get fully back at it, because I still don't think he's fully fit he wasn't last season, was he? I think Hanley and Gibson are growing something there. That's all I can say. And I think it can easily be, like I said before, one of the best in the league when they're both fully fit and at it. It's just a worry if one of them gets injured, which you wouldn't be surprised if it happens. But, Akin for Mayweather at Charlton is absolutely smashing it right now. They didn't concede for like 6-7 hours with him in the team, and the Charlton fans are really liking him. So I wouldn't be surprised if he comes back in January.
Yeah, we could do some more depth there, like you say. Okay, so all in all, it was disappointing, but I think if you take everything else into context, it wasn't that bad a result, really, was it?
No, like we say, 1 point away from second. I think 17 points are we on now. It's not bad going.
Yeah, I would have taken that at the start of the season. I'm guessing you would have too.
Well, 100%. And I think the thing is now that rather than kind of patchy wins, the performances are starting to get there, aren't they? I think Swansea, and what we're going to go on to in a minute, are a really, really tricky test. But I think we're going to be in and around it this year, which is what you want, isn't it, from a team of this quality, really, on paper.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about Swansea, like you said, Jacob. They're in quite good form. Drew with Brentford last night. They beat Blackburn 2-0 recently. Stoke 2-0. They are a team in form and a team that, come the end of the season, will probably be in and around it.
I think, along with us, they're probably one of the best footballing sides in the league, mate. He's done a really good job there, Steve Cooper. Really, really solid. Obviously took over from Graham Potter, and last season got into the top 6. A bit luckily, it was a bit of a fall apart from Nottingham Forest. But you know what? They deserved it. He kind of improved Premier League players. I think he's now gone and said to the board, you know what? We actually need our own players in. He's brought in Jamal Lowe, Ryan Bennett, Corey Smith. We know, obviously, those two quite well. And they're implementing good young players with solid Championship know-hows sort of thing. So, like I say, Carl Norton starts regularly. Ryan Bennett started last night. They've got Ben Cabango, who's really, really good at this level. Might be injured. Got a hamstring injury just before the Brentford game last night. And they don't know if that's a tweak or an actual kind of pull. Hopefully he's not playing, because that's one less set piece problem to worry about. Guehi as well at centre-back. I think he's on loan from Chelsea. Really good prospect. And in that up front, you've got Jamal Lowe, who we know from Wigan, and Andre Ayew, who's played in World Cups and Champions Leagues. And you think, bloody hell, is he still there? Apparently he's still on like 80 grand a week or something silly. He's far, far too good for this level.
How do you think Daniel Farke approaches it? For example, is it a game for Mario Vrancic? Do we need Jordan Hugill up there? What sort of shape do you think he'll go for?
It's really difficult because we know what Swansea will do. They'll play 5 at the back and be expansive. I think it's going to be very interesting to see for the first time, probably alongside Brentford, that we have someone who matches our possession stats. I wouldn't put in Mario Vrancic for this one. I think the legs in that midfield Swansea have in terms of Smith, Fulton or Grimes who play in there, and Danda who will be kind of roaming in and around there. I'd be very surprised if Mario Vrancic starts the game. Stiepermann looks a little bit rough, didn't he?
He did at points last night, I agree, but I still think that's our best option in there.
Yeah, and to be fair, if Todd's injured with ankle ligament kind of problems, then there's no other choice really. You could maybe argue Kenny McLean in there, a bit more legs, but then has he really done enough? He's not really match fit, and he's not going to create as much as Marco Stiepermann, unfortunately. So I'd say you're probably going to keep a similar team because there's not too many other options. This is a big test, mate. If we win this, I'll be very impressed.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, after the very initial start to the season, right at the start, I wasn't really expecting this because, we've played a few games in this tougher run now and we've come through pretty much unscathed, respectably. But this Swansea game, it is now starting to look like the toughest test because of the form they're in. So I think you're right. If we come through this and we look good, I think we can maybe start to get excited. I know it's early days, but I think we can probably start to get excited. Agreed?
Yeah, well, they for me outperformed Brentford last night, and we saw that Brentford were a decent side against us.
Yeah,
they'll be up there. They'll be top six. There's no doubt in my mind, unless they have a catalogue of injuries or they sell key players. They have done before in January. They obviously sold Joe Rodon to Spurs, which was a Swansea fans are massively happy about that. Their board is a fan of selling a good player, and they have plenty of them in there. Yeah, they'll be top six, mate, 100%. So these are the ones you want to win at home, aren't they? Brentford fans were disappointed they didn't beat us. Obviously, they didn't beat Swansea. It's weird, isn't it? Because if this was away, we'd take a point happily. But you really want to kind of use that home. And they've travelled, they've gone to away to Brentford. Obviously, going to have to go back to Wales because of COVID rules. Then come all the way back to Norwich. You think, you never know, but we should be beating them. I would say simply on that, on just travel tiredness. Obviously, so many games in the short amount of space of time. But it's going to be a tricky one.
it is. Okay, before we wrap up, score prediction.
Ooh, 1-1.
Yeah, I fancy 1-1 as well. I think, to be honest, I know it's at home, but would you be pleased with that?
I would be after such a kind of grueling test. I would be very happy with win. Again, performance, isn't it? If we look like we're getting there again, clicking well, and kind of it's going in the right direction, then you've got to be happy.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Let's leave it there then. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Comment as well. Let us know what you think ahead of the Swansea game, what you thought of last night. Anything we've discussed in this pod, let us know down below. But until then, enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll see you after even the Swansea game. Enjoy.
Laters.